Hello, this is an adaptation of the CarveWright tutorial. Since the original lesson had no audio, Bud is going to assist those of us that like to hear the lesson at hand as well as read the notes. Bud will use a goal pointer and the actual tutorial will use a white arrow. All movement, other than the goal pointer, is done by the original lesson. This lesson is about pierced carving.
Hello, this is Bud. This lesson is about pierced carving. It's a CarveWright tutorial that I've added my words to just to help everyone understand, including myself. Creating a pierced carving is fairly straightforward. No matter how complicated the design composition becomes, it boils down to creating a region that is as deep as the workpiece is thick and placing patterns into that region that bridge to the remaining bulk of the workpiece. In other words, there's like tabs that have it still connected. We will demonstrate a simple pierced carving by using a circle as a basis for our region and then placing two different elements into that region. First, we'll remove the wood grain for viewing purposes, and they're going to come up here to the viewing section and just use this so that it gets rid of the wood grain. I do believe. We'll find out here in just a second. Yep. Click. And the wood grain is gone. Now place a circle using the circle tool icon on the drawing toolboard. Click on the icon, select the center point by clicking the left mouse button and dragging the mouse to increase the diameter of the circle. Go up and click on the circle. Come down to the workpiece. That's your center point. And the cross that you see is the mouse being held down and moving out on the circle. Center the circle around both axes. In other words, let's move this yellow point so that it's directly in the center of the board. They clicked on their area and then do the center, come down the center both, and it's directly in the center. Now resize by dragging the control point to attain the desired diameter. You can also enter the radius. If we come up here and just look at these toolbars right here, you've got your depth and all that, but there's a radius. Right now it's 2.977. We can enter directly into that field. So I'm just going to take a chance, leave it set about like this, and click this, and there they're just dragging it out. Now use the circle to create the region. Set the depth of the region to the thickness of the workpiece, or a little deeper, since the normal thickness of the board is not always exact. If you've worked with wood a long time, you know that if you buy a pre-planed piece of wood from Lowe's or from any other lumber yard, you get 3/4 inch lumber as an example. You put a ruler on it and it is less than 3/4 of an inch. If you get raw cut lumber, they go by quarters. If you get 3/4 or 4/4, you get a truer measurement. It's probably oversized, not undersized. But you have to use micrometers or a good ruler to know exactly how thick your board is. The machine will protect itself and will not go too deep to damage itself. That's a nice feature. that I didn't realize was there, but that's good. Okay, so they're going to come up. Now come over here. Even though the region is impossible to see, if you are viewing the workpiece from straight on, you can verify that the region was created by looking at the carving list. The region icon is now displayed beside the circle, right here, as will all regions. The default depth is 1/4 of an inch, 0.250. Create the region by setting the depth to 0.750, and like I say, if this is a pre-planed board from Lowe's, it's less than 3/4 of an inch. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to place this back where my home is, and come over here and click. So they're changing the depth to 0.750, and you see it turned black. That's telling you it went all the way through the board, or it will. Our pierced region is now ready to be populated with other patterns. First, let's put a 1/2 inch feather on the region edge. This will provide a transition from the edge of the region to the bridging patterns, although it's not necessarily required. So they're going to go up and go to feather. They did a right click. They're going to put their 1/2 inch feather. Now we will place the center element in our pierced carving. It will be a square rosette. We will center it, rotate it 45 degrees, set its feather to none, stretch it to bridge to the outside of the region, and then change its depth to a 1/2 inch. It's a lot of work to do here. So they're going up to the pattern library, opens the library, and they're going to go get their pattern. They'll come down the rosettes, and they're going to click on the one they want. They're going to come over and click within the model. They're going to create the center to be dead center. They're going to rotate it 45 degrees, and they're going to spell that out because they want it exact. Set the feather to none so that the feather of the rosette does not cut into the feather of the region. We will demonstrate this issue again while the second with the second element we place. Feather, none. Resize the pattern so that it creates the bridge to the solid part of the workpiece. To set the new depth, modify the depth field in the input box on the toolbar. We will rotate the piece to better view the results. In other words, they're just going to turn this whole board so they can get a better feel as they go along. Now they're coming up and setting the depth, 1/2 inch. Pushing the pattern down deeper into the material reduces the up and down motion of the cutting head. If at all possible, avoid full depth, I think it says, on the cutting head. Oh, yeah, I don't know what it says. But we've got to be careful that we don't damage the cutting head by vibration or whatever. I can't tell you what's underneath there. I'm sorry. We are now ready to place the second pattern into the design in a manner similar to what we did on the first. So we're going to go get another pattern. Choose it, click. Change the angle to 45. Change the depth, looks like. Notice how the feather of the filigree pattern overlaps the feathered region. We will want to change the filigree feather to none. So they'll go up to feathers, they get a right click, and they'll go over to none. The feather overlap is removed. Now we will finish the pierced carving by mirroring the filigree in all four directions. In other words, what they've done is here's the original, and now they put this little filigree in right here. That's what we're going to see, and they're going to put it on all four pieces. Be right back. So we'll start it. Click on this, right click, and you're going to have to mirror. Come down and say do it all four ways. There it is. Just turn it around, look at it at various directions, and you can actually see where the connecting points are. And that is the end of this lesson.